And welcome everyone to Psycho Soda Plays at Pico Rivera, California for League Challenge 5 here for our VGC coming up action. My name is Sis Cornell, alongside with Dennis Geisler. We are glad to be back here, and our round 1 kickoff is going to be between two outstanding trainers. We have Abigail Watson on one side, and we have the first League Challenge champion, Benny Vasquez, on the other side.
Yeah, both these players are really impressive. Both of them have gotten to day 2 at regionals and have won locals in this area. Both these players certainly in the contention for top cut today. So really exciting one that we're starting out on.
Yeah, especially with the teams that both these players are going to be bringing to the table. I mean, you talk about these type of teams that we've seen, I mean, especially at the Baltimore Regionals, and also the Grand Challenge that's going to be ending today at 4:59 p.m. Pacific time, 7:59 Eastern. You see that we have a popular team at the hands of Abigail Watson, as we're going to be seeing that Incineroar, Pelipper, Male Vasquez Legion, Amoongus, Mousehold Family of 4, and the Archaludon, while on Benny's side it's going to be Volcarona, Miralaboom, Primarina, Electabuzz, King Gambit, and Sneasler.
Yeah, obviously the that Mousehold did end up, I mean, we'll say the Mousehold individually did end up winning at Baltimore, and this is the first tournament we've had here since Baltimore. I'm always kind of iffy on what a metagame is going to look like before the first regional, and it seems like a lot of things have stabilized a little bit, and Incineroar has certainly performed very well at the later stages of Baltimore, and the Mousehold obviously showed up pretty well, although I think it will fall off a little bit in certain matchups, although I think in this matchup it can certainly provide quite a bit of value.
I mean, the Mousehold's value against Benny's whole entire team is literally against everything except maybe the King Gambit and the Volcarona, depending on whether or not the Flame Body gets activated. Because a Population Bomb, if it hits 10 times, that's... okay, so it's a 30% chance for a physical move to burn, but if you multiply that by 10...
it's you're almost certain to get burned. I'll run the numbers real quick, but I think it's somewhere in the like 90+% that you get burned.
Yeah, which would be a pretty disastrous way to start the game here, Abby. Once you get started into the battle, if you ever get into that situation. Anyway, we're going into game number 1 here. Benny going to lead the Volcarona and the Rillaboom. Abigail going to be leading the Vasquez Legion and Incineroar. So Rillaboom is going to be weakened for now. Grassy terrain is going to be set by the Rillaboom, but this looks like a pretty free turn for Benny to go for, I mean, not really, it's just like the Vasquez Legion. I mean, if you go for your Terra type, which Volcarona's have typically been defensive, you know, we see Dragon, we seen Grass, we seen Water from time to time. It's just like, do you proc a Terra here, or do you try to Grassy Glide the Basque?
It's tough to say. Obviously the fake out pressure is a concern. Oh, I guess we'll find out.
I mean, I guess we're not going to finish that sentence, unfortunately. As Volcarona is going to Terra immediately, and it will reveal a Grass-type Terra to at least mitigate the damage of that Wave Crash that's probably coming out from this Vasquez Legion, as it is super effective, and Volcarona does not have the best of physical defenses. Fake Out goes into Incineroar, so it outspeeds the Fake Out of Incineroar that it tried to go for. Here's the Quiver Dance. Importantly to note, its base speed is faster than Vasquez Legion without the Rain or Tailwind support from Abigail's side, as that Quiver Dance is going to give Volcarona a necessary boost to its power. Wave Crash does get the Terra correctly onto the Volcarona. Flame Body does not activate.
Yeah, and I think that was a pretty ideal turn for Benny. Obviously, burning the Terra turn 1 is not always ideal, but at this point, you've got your Quiver Dance up. You probably don't need another one. It's just kind of a question of, can you land the right hits into the right places? I think the problem here is that just by bringing Vasquez Legion, you can kind of assume that Abby has the Pelipper in the back, and that seriously weakens the Fiery Dance damage. And so you're kind of locked into using Giga Drain more often, but Giga Drain doesn't hit Archaludon.
No, it does
which
not.
You can also assume is probably there if this is just the full rain mode from Abby.
Well, it is the full rain mode from Abby, and the Vasquez Legion's got to get out of here, and there is the Archaludon you said is the best grass-type resistance out of her team. Volcarona wisely protects to make sure to catch a switch in on the favor of Benny. Grassy Glide, unfortunately, is going to land on the Archaludon. There's almost no damage. It's going to proc a stamina boost for defense buff. It's going to go back to full HP with that grassy terrain, and Incineroar goes for the Flare Blitz, and it KOs the Rillaboom in a single hit. I think Benny was expecting that Flare Blitz to go into the Volcarona.
Yeah, probably was anticipating that. I don't think that it's that bad for Benny if Rillaboom drops. I don't think Rillaboom was going to provide that much at this point in this matchup, but it certainly isn't ideal that Volcarona did literally nothing that turn.
Well,
like, I don't think that's what Benny was looking for.
Well, I mean, it didn't do anything except heal the full HP with the leftovers of the grassy terrain recovery, so
It did, but it would have done that regardless, is the point.
Alright, Sneasler goes into play for many, and notably to note that it's not a grassy seed as you would see popularly with a terrain setter. So this Sneasler is actually a Focus Sash variant instead of being the Unburdened Seed activation. But the Sneasler can actually somewhat threaten our child with close combat. I think Abigail might have actually been swapping out, into that Vasquez Legion to make sure close combat doesn't get the exact touch there onto the Vasquez Legion. Giga Drain, did Benny actually read the switch in? No, he did not. He tried to read it on the Incineroar slot, but it will go back to full HP thanks to the Quiver Dance boost and the Giga Drain damage that it inflicted. Sneasler, close combat to the Incineroar, down it goes.
That was a nice play by Benny there, and that's definitely a nice spot to be in, because you can switch out the Sneasler if you want to maintain that close combat pressure against our Chaladon, assuming the Pelipper comes in here. And yeah, and if the Archaladon comes in, then you just close combat it. Pretty nice spot for Benny to be in. The Terra is still available for Abigail. That is the one thing that's going to be a little bit difficult for Benny, although at the same time, any Archaladon is Terra Grass, that's not going to mean a whole lot. Vasquez Legion's Terra Water, it'll mean it does more damage, but not much other than that. It doesn't resist, Giga Drain, and then Pelipper would go to Terra Ghost, which doesn't do much for it defensively.
I actually am wondering now, because of the Quiver Dance, and now that the Swift Swim is activated after Pelipper's Drizzle, is that we saw that in terms of base speed totals, we saw Vasquez Legion was slower than Volcarona. What happens if you go against the plus speed?
I think Vasquez Legion's going to be faster. We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out here as Pelipper protects to make sure to get the Focus Sash in play. It is indeed faster. It lands the last respects, but only for 100 base power because it was only one knockout on that last respects power. Giga Drain tried to hit the Pelipper, and Dire Claw tried to do it as well.
Ooh, calling out the double. That is really big for Abigail. And that, I mean, Volcarona will heal up a little bit, but I don't think it's going to take another last respects. And that makes it really, really difficult for Benny to play out at this point.
I also want to add a little side note before you continue. Last Respect is not a contact move, so it is safe from Flame Body.
It is, isn't it? That is, important to note. Not something I had thought about very much before this exact matchup.
Yeah, although it is a physical move, it is not contact.
Yeah.
And so you're free to launch a Last Respect into the slot, because even though it is based on 100 power, even though the Volcarona already taken one, it might not take another one unless, of course, Sneasler is switching out to make sure at Focus Sash is maintained. Benny's last Pokemon is going to be that Electabuzz, which could offer some Follow Me support should it survive the turn properly, and Abigail's in a Terra.
Yeah. And I believe that's going to be that Terra Water Vasquez Legion, boost up the damage of Wave Crash.
And this is also for Mystic Water as well.
With Mystic Water in rain, this is the meme calcs. Like, how much damage can you do?
Oh, did the Vasquez Legion hit the Sneasler slot? It did not. It goes for the Wave Crash into the Volcarona, tried to take it out into the fire of Flame Body, as a matter of fact. Pelipper does get Tailwind, though, so it will make things harder for Benny to get the speed advantage.
Yeah, it ended up being... I kind of see the point of that play if you're Abby, because you can kind of see the Protect as the obvious answer, and just saying, okay, do as much damage as possible, whatever. I think Wave Crash might still KO this Volcarona with all the boosts.
Or you could just redirect it to the Electabuzz just to salvage the Volcarona and then get a revenge Giga Drain onto the Vasquez Legion.
Yeah, well, and that's the question as well then, is can you get the Electabuzz out of the way, and with the Tailwind, can you then deal with the Sneasler? Because the Sneasler doesn't have Unburden, it's not going to boost that speed beyond reasonable measures, and I think even just a Pelipper under Tailwind should be faster than that Sneasler and could try to close the game out on it.
a really interesting situation here as Elithamos does the Deagle for follow me to make sure Volcarona is safe for the turn. I think even with the Eviolite and potential defensive maneuvers that the trainer has done, Benny in this case, should have survived this boosted wave crash. It will not.
Yep, that is a ton of damage. Absolutely a ton of damage.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit of recoil damage from the recoil. Pelipper's faster, but there is a special defense boost from this Hurricane, which proves to be the factor for the Volcarona surviving the turn, gets off the Giga Drain, and will take the Vasquez Legion and get some health back.
Very dumb little series of events there. The Electabuzz, because it's Eviolite, and Electabuzz doesn't have a huge HP stat in the first place, the actual wave crash damage that it did back to itself was not particularly high, which then meant that the Volcarona was able to heal back a lot of that HP that was still there on the Vasquez Legion.
And so now the situation is a 2-on-2 between Abigail and Benny, with Abby on the Archalon Pelipper, with, I presume, 2 turns left of rain, and Benny with the Volcarona and Sneasler, but Volcarona still might be in Hurricane range.
Yeah, I think I actually think I prefer Abby focusing down the Sneasler right now. I think the danger element here is the Sneasler, if that makes sense. Particularly with relation to that close combat into the Archaludon, because I don't think that the Volcarona can take down the Archaludon.
Well, Pelipper's not going to take its chances with taking random damage, especially with Fake Out coming.
That's smart.
Well, okay, well, Volcarona can at least try to get a Fire Dance special attack boost, should it want to. Here's Dragon Pulse landing on the Sneasler. It does at least half HP, and the second Quiver Dance goes up for Benny.
I think that was pretty smart on both sides, except for the fact that the Sneasler just ended up getting blocked by the Protect. And I think it's smart for Benny, because at some point I think you're up to +2 special attack now. You're also up to +2 speed, which actually probably means you outspeed these Tailwinds.
And +2 special defense as well.
Yeah, which is nice.
Which means that it should survive another Hurricane, but it won't take a double up.
Yeah, I think the big issue here is trying to... Because the Volcarona realistically is going to have to fight this alone.
I presume this is going to be double protecting out from Benny, as it is last turn Tailwind from Abby's side of the field, and yes, this will be what's going to be happening. But the important thing to note, did Archaludon go for the Electro Shot to get the special attack boost? First of all, Wonder Ball would have landed on the Archaludon for a stamina boost.
Ooh, that's clean. I like that. That's a neat little trick.
And it is Electro Shot, so Abigail actually getting a couple of boosts before the end of the turn.
That's a neat little trick. I like that quite a bit, and it means potentially you take in what's it called?
Close combat.
Close combat a lot better, yeah.
So Tailwind's gonna go away, but so will Rain. So Abigail timed. So she timed the Electro Shot perfectly, and then now the question just becomes: do you take a +2 Fiery Dance from Volcarona, or are you gonna have to rely on the post combat hitting a +1 defense Archaludon because of that Wonder Ball?
Yeah, I think that's the big issue here, is that Archaludon's a bit slow right now. And frankly, the Pelipper is also kind of a sitting duck.
Quite literally.
I guess it's a pelican, but Hurricane misses now. Weatherwall doesn't really do anything, so...
Ooh, Giga Drain goes into the Pelipper
big.
once again. That Sash
this could come down to that.
Yeah, that focus has been intact for a long while, and yet once again, Benny goes for the Giga Drain Dire Claw play onto the Pelipper, trying to get it out of the way. Dragon Pulse will get the Sneasler away from the board, and now Benny's down to a Volcarona, +2 special attack, special defense, and speed. I guess a Focus Sash Pelipper and a Assault Vest on the Archaludon.
I'm really surprised at that play for Benny, because it felt like, at the very least, you want to see what the close combat does to this Archaludon. It might not KO, but trying to double up into the Pelipper, I get that the Pelipper is probably the one doing the most damage to this Volcarona. It's still kind of dangerous to try to focus that Pelipper down when it's the only one with Protect. You can focus down the Archaludon. And, All right.
Okay, I was waiting on you to finish that sentence, unfortunately. So a little awkward moment from us there. Giga Drain is going to put Pelipper down to its focus session. Probably heal Volcarona back to full HP, and it will. So our Charlotte's going to have a little bit of a hard time hitting moves. But speaking of hitting moves, Volcarona going to dodge a Hurricane here. Body Press going to at least get past the special boost. No Flame Body activation, though.
Yeah, and this is the difficult spot that you're in right now after Abigail. I mean, it would have been big if that Hurricane hit. It's still going to be difficult, even with even if it had hit, it still would be a pretty difficult spot to be in. At the very least, now you know that you're probably not going to see too much healing.
Oh, there we go. We're doing it again. Volcarona going to protect, and that's another stamina boost from Abigail.
Yeah, it sure is. And this is an even better one because the Weather Wall does like nothing.
10 damage, exactly.
And that means the Body Press gets a bit more damage. It'll still be pretty close. It'll probably come down to whether a Fiery Dance at +2 is able to knock out this Archaludon, which is really... Honestly, I do not know the answer to that question.
Yeah, but we're only going to do it again, and it's been a little unfortunate that the Body Press has not triggered Flame Body, because that actually would have been a game ender right there. Stressful situation for both players. Especially if you look at Abigail's camera. She's a little stressed.
Especially because you need 2 Body Presses, I think, still to knock out this Volcarona, and you'll probably need 3 if your Archaludon gets burned after the first one.
Fire Dance lands onto the Archaludon. Abigail a little happy that happened. It isn't able to survive that hit. No special attack boost from the Fire Dance, unfortunately. Just another stamina block. There's Hurricane landing on a +2 special defense on the Volcarona. Let's take it pretty well. I think Body Press is going to finish it off. Here's the launch. Down it goes.
Yep. There it goes. I get the idea for Benny there that you probably needed to KO with Fiery Dance regardless. Order of operations, I'd say, was a little bit questionable. Like, in hindsight, now that we know what that damage did, you probably should have gone for the Fiery Dance into the Pelipper, tried to get the knockout, tried to get the +1 special attack, and then tried to knock out the Archaludon with the Fiery Dance at preferably +3. Obviously, it's a little thing, and
Abby won game 1.
We didn't really know. Yeah, Abby won game 1.
You can continue.
Obviously, it's a little thing, and you don't really know where... we didn't know what the damage calcs were, and so I doubt that Benny had it all in his head, but that's something to look to game 2, because I think Benny had at least a chance to win that game.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a couple of... I think the big thing is Flame Body...
Yeah, Flame Body never activated.
And I think that Flame Body activated, I think the game would have been very different from Abigail's side, because then it just becomes, oh, my Archaludon is not really doing a whole lot of damage, so it's like, I gotta get all these stamina boosts from my own Pelipper.
Or even if Flame Body had activated on that first wave crash from Vasquez Legion. That certainly would have changed the game quite a bit, because that Vasquez Legion would have put out way less pressure over the entire course of the game.
And that I have to agree with you. And looking back into this matchup now, I mean, obviously, I would assume that Abigail would bring the same 4. I think it's also likely that Brittany brings the same 4, or we could see Electabuzz lead instead of Rillaboom.
Yeah, certainly could. The Rillaboom did absolutely nothing. I don't think it's a terrible bring, just because if Abby is committing to Rain, Rillaboom reduces that weakness to fire pretty consistently, and so if you're able to force in, actually a bit of a different one.
Okay, well, yeah, I think I will allow you to continue with the Rillaboom statement a little bit later as soon as we get the leads on. Mousehole Archaludon from Abigail, which could screen Population Bomb to the Archaludon for a defense boost, or, oh boy, that's going to be a big risk with the Population Bomb, because we were talking about it earlier. It's 10 separate hits, and 10 different times you could activate Flame Body.
I did the math. If you hit all 10 times...
Oh, we're not going to find out.
Yeah. I'm not going to find out this turn, at least. If you hit 10 times, it's like a 97% chance you get burned. And obviously I don't think Volcarona takes all 10 hits, but...
So let's take the Dragon Pulse after a Quiver Dance boost, at least.
Yeah.
Which now goes into the new thing, where it's this Population Bomb, which I don't think is going to KO Rillaboom, unless you double it up with the Archaludon afterwards. Or do you try to switch out the Mousehole to the Pelipper and then make sure you get an Electro Shot off? But no, it looks like Abigail's going to do a little bit of a weird play here, which is going to be the Population Bomb. Oh, we're not going to see the chance, because the Grassy Life Fire Dance that their Quiver Dance boost knocks out before Mousehole can help out the Archaludon.
I like that play a lot from Benny. That was a really smart play. I mean, that was part of the Baltimore winning play, is getting that population bomb into the Archaludon.
No flame body
no
again.
I was holding.
Go on.
But that definitely would have done quite a bit of damage if that had built the stamina all the way up. And now at this point, if you're Abigail, you've already lost your mouse hold. You still have all the rain stuff to work with, and I think this Volcarona is actually kind of in an awkward spot because Hurricane kind of dumps it regardless of what it tries to do.
Yeah, it's still weak to flying even if it's Terras because it's still maintaining a bug type. This Rillaboom was in a decent spot. I mean, I do sure you had the U-turn here on the Pelipper specifically to make sure you get the Focus Dash off. Volcarona's in a more awkward spot because your Fiery Dance damage is reduced by the rain, and you kind of need to dance the Archaludon.
Yeah.
And Electabuzz comes back again.
I like this play. One, I think it's smart to hard switch out because the Pelipper loves just clicking Protect, is what we saw in the previous game, and it did it here, so going for a U-turn there was potentially a bad decision. But now you know that the Electabuzz is in and can soak up that follow me pressure, so the Volcarona has a chance to attack next turn.
And the Electro Shot goes into to protect the Volcarona, but at the very least, we are now neutral in terms of special attack and special defense boost from Archaludon and Volcarona respectively, but Volcarona is back to full HP with the leftovers and grassy terrain.
Yeah, and the issue here is that now you have to deal with knocking out this Electabuzz. It doesn't have... I mean, it's going to follow me, so...
Yeah, but it doesn't have static, importantly. This is a Vital Spirit.
Static, which is important.
This is a Vital Spirit Electabuzz for anything that tries to put Electabuzz or any of its partners to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Which is nice. I mean, at this point, I think you just dump as much damage into what you presume will be Electabuzz, but what you hope will be Volcarona as possible.
Ooh, no follow me first off from Benny. It's going to be an Electro Web. We'll knock out the Pelipper. Archaludon going to take it pretty decently, especially with that Assault Vest. And, I don't think that critical hit mattered on the Pelipper.
I think it mattered.
That is a speed drop on the Archaludon from the Electro Web, and it will get a defense boost as well. You are already resisting Body Press because you're a Bug type. Is it another Electro Shot? It is another Electro Shot, so it is going to go at least a +1 advantage onto the Volcarona should it go that way, but unless... Probably follow me read here? No, we just got a Volcarona at +1 now after multipliers, and it doesn't even do half damage.
Yeah, I think Benny's obviously in a great spot here, and that was a great play to get rid of the Pelipper. The issue here is you do have to at least be very lightly concerned about these two Pokemon in Rain, Archaludon at +2 defense, +2 special attack, and Basculegion in Rain with 2 knockout allies.
Yeah, now Rasperspect has 150 base power.
Yeah, it's at least a bit of a concern that you have to think about.
Oh, here we go with another Terra Water coming out from Abigail, so it will be, once again, the full boosts from this Basculegion.
Yeah, which I'm intrigued by. I guess you have Protect for the Fake-Out turn, presuming Sneasler is in the back, presuming Sneasler comes back out and Fake-Outs and stuff.
Follow Me comes out. We did see the Basculegion was faster than the Volcarona before, and we'll get that Wave Crash shot, but I don't think that was who you wanted to Wave Crash because of the redirection. I let those go down even through it, but I presume this will be Giga Drain into the Basculegion, and it'll be a 1-on-3.
Yeah, and I mean, it wasn't, like, the best...
Oh, another Quiver Dance, so we are back to neutral in terms of Electro Shot damage.
The Volcarona also outspeeds the Basculegion now, which is pretty useful as a feature. And it definitely takes the Electro Shot, unless it crits.
Yeah, unless it crits. It's going to get launched off from Archaludon's electricity. It's going to go... not knock out the Volcarona.
Okay. But this is a pretty obvious Protect turn for Basculegion anyways, so...
I mean... Ideally for Benny, the grassy terrain goes away. Ideally for Benny, the grassy terrain goes away this turn. Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Because that means grassy glide's always going to guarantee the pressure onto the Basculegion.
Yeah. And I guess the question here is, I imagine this is a pretty obvious Protect turn from the Basculegion. What does Archaludon do to take pressure off of Basculegion right now? It does have the Aqua Jet. I didn't even think about the Aqua Jet very hard, but the Aqua Jet is an option to get things done.
Oh ho!
Okay.
Benny gonna switch out the Rillaboom in that slot. Here comes Sneasler, which is the last Pokemon for Benny. For game number 2 here, Volcarona will protect the Scout out if that Aqua Jet was coming out from Abby. This Archaludon is already getting scary because it already has plus 2 defense and plus 3 special attack. This is also going to be the last turn of Rain, and it will be a Dragon Pulse going into the Sneasler, which will activate that Focus Sash.
Yeah. And and now it's a pretty obvious Protector. I think it might have been a Protect Read from Benny, which means that it ended up being a pretty nice play for Abby, because now you have the Protect again for this Fake Out turn.
Oh, never mind, there was still a turn of Rain left. We miscounted.
Yeah. But now, I mean, you could Fake Out into the Basculegion. Like, at this point, the Sneasler is kind of in an awkward spot because you want Fake Out into both of these Pokemon. But both of them have their issues with clicking Fake Out into them.
They do, and then...
Mostly that the other one then gets to act.
Yeah, and just like one more turn of Electric Shot you could be going for, which... So we're getting out of him because, I think even though Volcarona can handle it, Sneasler, we saw, could not. And then maybe Rillaboom won't either.
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly getting close to an awkward situation, although Fiery Dance does do a pretty solid chunk to Archaludon, as we saw.
Well, this is to cover the Aqua Jet from Basculegion with this Grass Terra from Benny's Volcarona. Unless it went for last respects out of spite. Oh no, we're not going to get to find out that one. Fake Out goes into the Basculegion, does not trigger Poison Touch, but it will give another Quiver Dance. So this Basculegion is going to have a bit of a harder time outspeeding this Volcarona, especially with the last turn of Rain being right here, right now. Electric Shock goes off. If it goes into the Volcarona, it's going to take it. If it goes to Sneasler, it's a 2-on-2.
Yeah. I'd honestly prefer it into Volcarona, to be perfectly honest. Okay, it will be into the Sneasler. I'm fine with either choice there. The Sneasler, you get to knock out the Sneasler, not a bad idea. If it went into the Volcarona, you just get to do a little bit more damage to the Volcarona. I think at this point, it feels inevitable this will end up being Volcarona versus Archaludon as the final two.
And then, how well does it take a +3 Fiery Dance, even though it has an Assault Vest? I don't think it'll be... I think it'll take 1, but I don't think it'll take 2.
Yeah, I think at the current... I think at full HP it takes 1. This Rillaboom doesn't have anything that hits Archaludon, which is nice for Abby. It's only at +1 defense. There's the +3. Abby just giving us a glance at those numbers. Yeah, this is a tough spot to be in. I think you actually have to potentially just let yourself get fake-outed as Basculegion and just go for as much damage as possible, potentially the last respect specifically, to just see if you can get damage down.
I mean, if last respect wasn't Volcarona, I think that's game over for Benny because that's your best piece of offense just gone.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
and that's the issue. But Volcarona, the obvious protect there, because it just keeps protecting to get that HP back.
Okay, Basculegion also protecting to make sure Grassy Glide doesn't take it out. Rillaboom in a weird spot right now, but I think it has to be Grassy Glide. No, it's Woodhammer.
Okay. I wonder if Benny thinks that Grassy Glide wouldn't knock out the Basculegion.
And Dragon Pulse does not go out the Rillaboom.
I guess I don't hate the idea, but I would probably call that turn good for Abby. Obviously, Benny does get a little bit more HP on that Volcarona, but you stall out the fake-out turn, which is nice, and... Basculegion actually faster than Rillaboom out of rain? That's gotta be, right?
Probably, as we saw, it did outspeed, underspeed Volcarona, and... did it underspeed anything else? No, I don't think so. It's like Sneasler.
I don't think we've seen the specific speed matchup outside of Rain.
Oh, what are we calling out here with this fake out? I'm now under the impression of, okay, is this... Okay, well, obviously Fake Drinks have been knocking the Basculegion here. I'm more so wondering where the fake out was going to be happening.
I think that might have been trying to keep away a stamina boost. Basically, if any grass move had gone into Basculegion, Basculegion gets knocked out, and Archaludon gets a stamina boost. So I really, that was actually kind of a really cool play from Benny, keeping extra stamina boosts off of our Chalodon so it can't build up that body press to do like really good damage to the Volcarona, because that probably would be its best damage to Volcarona if it got a couple more stamina boosts, but that got denied.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't see a Sucker Punch anywhere, so I was like, what are we looking at here? So, Protect, are we going to see Fake Out stalling from this Rillaboom? Yes, we are.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to do, and if the Rillaboom drops, the Rillaboom drops.
No.
But I think Abigail doesn't care about the Rillaboom. Like, the Rillaboom is completely inconsequential to what's happening in this battle right now.
And look how much HP Volcarona recovering just for being in the grassy terrain and the leftovers.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting, the amount of
oh, but grassy terrain's gone.
That is honestly not super meaningful. It does mean the recovery's down.
Another Fake Out fails for Benny there, excuse me. Here's the first Fiery Dance coming out from this Volcarona at +3. It crits and it doesn't even knock out. But it gets a nice special attack boost. Yeah, and I think that means this battle's going to be over anyways, even if this somehow crits. No, it did not.
I think it means this battle's over anyways, as the Archalodon, I don't think would be able to get through the... I think the Rillaboom would be able to do 17 damage at least, so... Yeah,
that's going to even the set as Bandy Vasquez wins game number 2 and forces that all-important game 3.
We are stalling out the bracket right now. Every other game is done, and we are still going here.
For those of you watching at home or watching the VOD, we're going to tell you something happened. Yeah, Benny won game number 2.
Yeah.
We're going to say we were supposed to start earlier, but let's just say we all love technology.
TV had some issues. We got Pokemon, though.
So now we go to this game number 3 here. Mousehold
didn't do much.
Yeah, I was going to say, that Mousehold is honestly underwhelmed in my opinion.
I think it had the opportunity to do stuff and just kind of didn't get the right... It didn't get the right reads, it didn't get the right plays.
No, it had wanted to do something, and then Benny picked it off.
Yeah.
But before it had a chance to go to Population Bomb Stamina play, and then...
Like, it got hit with Fake Out, and then it got hit with Grassy Glide, and then it got hit with +1 speed Fiery Dance. And so it kind of did nothing. And I don't know if Abby has a way around that. Because part of the interesting thing here is that Abby does have Rain, and Benny can't really overwrite Rain, but Benny has Grassy Terrain, and Abby can't overwrite the Grassy Terrain, and there's a lot of value that Grassy Terrain does bring.
You mean Abby?
Yes, Benny has the Grassy Terrain.
Yeah, which Abby cannot override.
Yeah, I'm trying to...
Don't worry, we're covering for each other, don't worry. We're meant for this. We're going to game 3, though, ladies and gentlemen. Round 1 of Ludo League, Challenge 5 here at Sakasota Plays. We have Benny Vasquez, who's going to lead Volcarona Electabuzz this time around. No Rillaboom in sight. It's going to be Pelipper Chalodon from Abigail. Immediately brings up a rain pressure.
Yeah, I think that actually feels like a good read from Benny in this matchup. It is, because it means that your Volcarona is protected. You get your Quiver Dance off, basically, with the Pokemon that are on the field right now. And frankly, I think Electabuzz... I think what we've seen take out Electabuzz both times is the Terra Water Wave Crash. And
yeah, both of them were Rain Boosted, Terra Water, Mystic Water Boosted Wave Crashes.
And that's not on the field right now. And I think Electabuzz... It probably takes a double, but I don't think it drops to 1 attack here. And so you can definitely go for like a Follow Me and then get that Quiver Dance up.
Well, now Pelipper's going to get out of here, make sure it doesn't get hit by Electro Web anytime soon. As Incineroar going to take its place. Volcarona going to come out to make sure Volcarona remains at full HP. If Electro Shot is coming out from the Archalodon, Volcarona sets up the first Quiver Dance for that special attack, special defense, and speed boost.
We'll mention that it is a light concern that this Incineroar is out here now. We'll see how much this Electro Shot does. I'm actually curious.
Yeah, it's going to redirect to the Electabuzz, which unfortunately Electric resists Electric, so it's not going to be a whole lot, especially with VV Light as well.
Yeah.
And I think Electabuzz has a pretty good special defense stat, if I recall correctly. Oh yeah, pretty much.
Electabuzz is disgustingly bulky. It's actually really scary.
Yeah, but what was the issue with the Incineroar being here? I want to hear this from you.
For Benny, it's a problem because Benny doesn't really have a great answer to the Incineroar. Incineroar resists both of Volcarona's moves. The only real thing that you have for it is the Sneasler, and so it means you have to bring out the Sneasler a little sooner. It's actually a really nice adaptation to what Benny was doing in game number 2, which is let the Sneasler do whatever. It's interesting that the Electabuzz got pulled out. It is afraid of the knockoff, to be sure.
Yeah, Rillaboom comes in here. It's not a resistant Electro Shot. It will take a Flare Blitz because of the rain, which I still think is going to do decent damage, even if rain it would have reduced its damage output. There you go, that's what I was looking for. As Volcarona is going to protect to make sure it doesn't get hit by Incineroar's knockoff anytime soon. Another Electro Shot goes off. That's a +2 special attack for Chaladon, and as we've been saying this so many times off camera, this, in my opinion, is the team to beat, and this is why, because if you get this stockpile of boosts, this could get out of control.
It sure can, and
the Assault Vest is gone as well from the knockoff. Rillaboom survives, fortunately.
Yeah, and I want to mention here again, this is another turn where Benny went for the Protect of the Volcarona, and it did nothing. Protecting the Volcarona has done a lot for Benny in this set, but it's also meant that there have been a lot of turns where Volcarona has gotten absolutely no value down, even though it's the core of this team against Abby in this matchup here. And
so we're really in a weird spot because like you can't go for Fake Out on our Chaladon, which is going to be the play to give it an unfortunate stamina boost, but I think that's a necessary evil you have to commit to yourself if you're Benny. As we get another Quiver Dance to get the +2 in all of your special stats and your speed, Incineroar pretty likely is going to knock out the Rillaboom here or knock out that Leftovers, which would be a pretty nice play if you're Abigail. It is going to knock out the Leftovers.
Yeah, I think that's a smart play for Abby, and that did a lot of damage. But with how low of HP this Rillaboom is on, Benny is going to have to choose between keeping the Rillaboom around and getting the grassy terrain back up and losing out on all recovery on your Volcarona, which has been a really important part of this series so far.
Speaking of important, this Volcarona has just been everything for Benny, you know. We did see Sneasler from both battles. Oh, look at the double... Oh, no, that was the Protective Blaster. Yeah, I'm tripping. When Hammer comes out into the Incineroar, it will be Grassy Terrain boosted. It does almost half, respectively. And it will get another... Okay, that's the third Electro Shot, so that's 3 out of the 4 rain turns used Electro Shots. Or, yeah, because the third one's faked out.
Yeah, that's the third Electro Shot now for this Archaladon.
And Rillaboom is going to get out of the way for Abigail. An interesting choice, but if you have Vasquez Legion, probably not a bad one.
Yeah, and I do kind of think Benny didn't necessarily want it around that much longer. Just the problem here is that what is a Volcarona to do in this setup right now? You're in rain, so your Fiery Dance doesn't do any damage. You do absolutely nothing against this Incineroar. I think you have to bring out Sneasler here, ideally, but then switch shenanigans from Abigail. You can switch out the Incineroar potentially. Be able to get the Intimidate back onto the Sneasler and try to threaten that out. And I don't know, it's a difficult spot to be in.
Yeah, very difficult as well, especially because you had to, unfortunately, had to go for a Fake Out onto the Archaladon to make sure that Volcarona got another Quiver Dance off, which I think we're going to get to the point where those Quiver Dances are actually not beneficial to Volcarona because Archaladon's getting more boosts than Volcarona. And then, what else? This Incineroar could just go for a Parting Shot to either of these Pokemon. Ooh, Benny gonna Terra. There's two options here. There's obviously the Grass Terra, just in case, on the Volcarona, or we're gonna see the Stellar Terra from the Sneasler.
Let's try to boost the damage as much as possible. Might be going for a close combat into the Archaladon. Just go for it all, try to get that thing out of the way. It's boosted up too much. You can't deal with it.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on. This Fire Dance, yeah, not doing a whole lot of damage with that Assault Vest and the Rain at +2 special attack. I think that Stamina boost actually be the reason the Sneasler will not get the knockout with close combat. And it will be into the Archaladon at +2 defense. Yeah, that was not ideal.
But it does mean that Archaladon is fairly low on HP now. I think the next Fiery Dance should do it.
And then there's a fourth Electro Shot on the last turn of Rain.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of Electro Shots that it's gotten up. But it's now very low on HP. And it doesn't matter how many stacks you have of your special attack and your defense if you're getting hit by faster special attack.
Incineroar goes for party shot, doubles the Abigail doubles the Sneasler here. I believe the Sneasler is now on Dire Claw duty.
Yeah, I mean, it'd have to be.
And also, oh yeah, that's actually really smart, because I was going to say, this is the last turn of rain, because we counted rain turns with the electro shots. With Vasquez Legion coming in here, Aqua Jet goes into the Sneasler here. Electabuzz could switch in to take it, but once you get the rain back up, Volcarona's damage output is low again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess the question here, because I think you want to Aqua Jet into Volcarona. You want to get that out of the way.
Oh yeah, since Crosshairs not in here anymore.
Yeah, and you might just say, okay, our Chalodon is... our Chalodon drops if I leave it in this turn. I don't necessarily... You just need to get this Volcarona out of the way. That is the key to all of this. You just need to get that Volcarona out of the way. Abby certainly has ways to win and things to play around with our Chalodon either low HP or switched out and losing all its boosts or knocked out. I don't think Benny has a way to win this if Volcarona gets knocked out.
Hey, it is going to be Sneasler coming in for the Electabuzz.
Yeah, and...
I was about to say you wanted to let me finish your statement here, but it looks like we're knocking out the time. Ooh, our Chalodon switching out, making sure that it stays around for a little bit longer. Pelipper going to reset the rain here for Abby. Go ahead and get the Drizzle up in play again. And Terra Water again comes out from Abigail for a third game in a row.
Yeah, it's kind of funny with how the Vasquez Legion has been an important part, but not like the central feature of Abby's team. It's still been where the Terra has gone every single time.
It's probably for good reason as well here. Volcarona is going to protect against the Aqua Jet should Abby go for it, but watch this be way crashing into the other slot. No, it is just Aqua Jet.
I mean, that's not bad for Benny. The problem now is that... what do you do about this Vasquez Legion? I mean, it can go for Aqua Jet this turn, and the grassy terrain's down now, so the Volcarona has no more healing, period, for the rest of the battle. I don't know, it's the Giga Drains. Yeah, it has the Giga Drain healing, but it doesn't have the just stall out turns healing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Leftovers has been knocked off, grassy terrain now permanently gone because of the relevant fainting earlier.
Yeah, and I guess the issue here... and this is a tough one. You do have the ability to try to... Oh, man, I'm really... I don't know where this is going to go.
Yeah, are you lost of words or something?
A little bit.
Okay, well, let's get some words back. Incineroar coming back in for the Incineroar slot. Although Intimidate's not going to do much, it's fake high pressure nonetheless. Electabuzz pretty likely to go for Follow Me here. But no, Vasquez Legion protects! Did Electabuzz go for the Electro Web here? No? Okay, it might have actually with the Giga Drain going into the Incineroar slot. Make sure that Pelipper's status is maintained. It's going to get a bit of HP recovery back after using the move. Electro Web comes out and will slow down the Incineroar, but it did not slow down the Vasquez Legion, or at least just yet.
Yeah, and I'm curious now what the choice is. I guess... No, I think it makes perfect sense now. You go for the Fake Out to get the Electabuzz out of the way, and then you do your big damage to Volcarona. And I think at that point, you basically clean things up. It seems like Abby's still switching around this matchup here.
I mean, that is still a +2 special attack, special defense, and speed Volcarona, though.
It is. And yeah, and potentially, because I think it outspeeds in rain. It outspeeds Vasquez Legion in rain. So you would have needed to use Aqua Jet to be faster.
Oh, and we see the Archalodon as we switch in for the Vasquez Legion here. I wonder what Abigail's afraid of there. Okay, that's about switching out for Sneasler at 1 HP.
Yeah. It might be just getting rid of this Sneasler at this point, but...
That might be the case because Volcarona protected. Again, the cover for Aqua Jet here. No, it's just knockoff. It's just knockoff. Trying to get the EV out of the way from Electabuzz, but just could not do it in that turn.
Yeah, now that's what's going to happen next turn now.
Well, if that's the case, then what's stopping Benny from going for Fiery Dance onto the Chalodon? Because we know it knocks out from that range.
I think it's, yeah, do it. Like, from Abigail's perspective, I think it's, yeah, go for it. Like, if you do that, then I'm still, I still have everything I need to win this game.
Yeah, you have everything to win, yeah, for sure, but it's just like, if you go to a situation where you go down to Pelipper, Vasquez Legion as your Pokemon, well, obviously we saw that +2 special defense Volcarona was able to take Hurricanes pretty decently. We do know it will not survive anything that Vasquez Legion provides. Oh no, it wasn't an Incineroar slot!
I think that's smarter, actually, if it got the knockout.
Electro does come out to slow down both these Pokemon. Doesn't even knock out the Incineroar, and Benny looking a little disappointed with that damage output.
Yeah, I think it was smarter to actually get rid of the Incineroar, because I think what you wanted to do is put this team in a situation where Rain would actually drop off, and that the Pelipper would not be able to switch back in. I don't know how many turns of Rain we have left. I think this might be the last one. I think
there's 2, but I could be wrong about that as well.
Yeah, in any case, I think the win condition for Benny is get into a situation where the Rain is down and nothing, the Pelipper can't switch in to put up Rain, so there's no Rain, Vasquez Legion's there. Ideally, Electabuzz is still around.
And now
might be the situation we're getting into, because you get the double knockout here, so we'll have to see what the Rain does.
No!
Yeah. That's the problem, is that the Rain gets back up now, and
you can redirect the Vasquez Legion, but definitely you cannot redirect the Pelipper. And I think, oh god, I just realized there's more mind games to this turn, because we've seen this every time that Volcarona protects in front of the Aqua Jet, but we've also seen Abby protect Pelipper in front of Giga Drain. Yeah,
I think the question here, I'm not going to guarantee that Aqua Jet is going to knock out here. If Abby wanted to play this out slower, it could go for she could go for like a Protect's Tailwind to try to make sure you outspeed and then get the Wave Crash off, but then you're even more at risk of getting redirected. Although at that point a Weather Ball does a pretty substantial chunk to Volcarona, let alone the Hurricane. I don't know. I guess I'm worried about Aqua Jet.
No Follow Me comes out. Where did this go? It goes to the Volcarona. He has a knockout. Yes, it does. Absolutely. The Flame Body finally triggers at the worst time as well.
Oh, finally. You get it once.
But it's not the ideal time, unfortunately, for Benny. Electro Web does come out, hits both Pokemon, good Pelipper down to the Focus Sash. But if this is Hurricane or Weather Ball going out, Abigail's got the game in her bag. The speed drops on both of these Pokemon. We're still laughing at the Flame Body activation. Weather Ball comes out. Abigail Watson gonna win over Benny Vasquez 2-1.
Real fun one. Real fun one there. And I mean, it's interesting in this metagame particularly where there is, I think a lot of the Pokemon that end up in this metagame are ones with a decent amount of bulk. They have setup moves, like you get the Volcarona and you get the Archaludon, and some others that fit kind of a similar archetype as that, where the game ends up being built around trying to build up these Pokemon, get their checks out of the way, try to get as much damage down with those Pokemon, like, at their peak value as possible. And in Game 3, Abigail was just like, Vasquez Legion, big damage, just get her done.
Yeah, that's exactly what ended up happening here, and why all of us presumed Rain would be the popular pick for Regulation H, as I still argue it's the best team in the format.
Yeah, so much that this gets done, so much that this team gets done, and we didn't even see the Amoonguss.
I mean, I don't think Amoonguss was doing much of that matchup anyway.
Amoonguss wasn't doing much into that matchup, but it does a lot into a lot of matchups, which is the scary part about it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a quick break here to go set up for round number 2 here. When we come back, we'll guarantee you more Pokemon action.